Hello there, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to Katawa Shoujo. We are continuing our route to hopefully the good ending for Hanako. Hide and Seek Act 2. Let's go. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body switches to auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into my uniform. As always, my box of pills sit on my desk patiently waiting for me to take them and pick out my daily dosage of medicine. 17 pills a day. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class for free, glad to see that I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hangover from the festival week. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt. With the festival now over, it's as if everyone's life dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside me are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. Just I'm about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, trails bobbing from the dramatic entrance and arms stretched towards the sky. Yahoo! It's all over! It will appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glared at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the full mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly she jerks forward. Hey! As she stumbles to the classroom, she reveals she's in an arm still extended from where she shoved Misha. Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seats? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate. Oh yeah, she just said she's not happy with you teaching us last week. We're really busy. Is that so? Cool. What about stuff I already did for you two? She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything. Michelle leans closer and whispers conspirationally into my ear. Actually, I think she's just sorry that you didn't spend the day with her. I'm fine. I don't care. She's really thankful for her work last week for. Sensing that she's being talked about, she lightly taps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but this time at a much more reasonable pace. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk. Good morning, Hisao. Morning, Hanako. You're too late, aren't you? I was talking to Lily. About today. Ah, so you got her list then. We can leave straight after classes in that case. Sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. Nice. During classes, it becomes apparent it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Muto simply gives us a list of exercises from the textbook and then sits behind his desk. I totally forget about the brief lunch period for a moment, but such is a banality of the day. It's mind-numbing, and everyone seems surprised when the bells signal the end of the lessons. As I'm packing up my bag, Shizune and Misha flank and interrupt me. Hey, Hichan! It's still not too late to join up! There is a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete! Sorry. I've got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide, then she bursts into laughter. You were fast, don't you, Hichan? We won't disturb your date any further. Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me, and I'm okay with that. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly on the floor. Let's... Gotcha. See you later, girls. And I'm still not interested in the council. Spot! Mission shoes then retreat in the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. I assume she nodded there, right? Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. It's all weird, it's almost a scene from any other high school, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. One thing I do notice is that nobody is alone. Right? And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she has moved closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her back to the point of whitening her knuckles. Her head down, her mouth pursed closed. She almost looks like she's being walked to the principal's office for the first time. I try to stiffly giggle at the thought, but it is futile. What's the matter? I guess there's no point hiding it. Sorry. For a second there it looked like you were getting in trouble. What do you mean? I think you need to relax, we're not going far, and it's only students around, right? Right. It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you? Yes, with Lily. Of course, with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left the school without her? Yo, then if you think about it, think about how much, truly, how much of a progress she's made in Lily's route. That was a lot of progress. It doesn't seem like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lee is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto? And what drew her to Lily? Was it her lack of eyesight, or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It will be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain the color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards the town. The crowd of students thins as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster students rush ahead, and the less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. By the time we reach the convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items to her basket. Bread, milk, tea. Tim? Actually, time? No, Tim. It was... Fuck, I checked it previously and I don't remember how you were supposed. Tim? Tim, right? Or time? Time, exactly. Okay. What kind of convenience store sells herbs? Well stored? Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retrospect. Everything is so different, and uncomfortable dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about that, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They still interrupt my train of thought when I see them. They don't mind though. As much as I don't want to admit to myself, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I am carefree myself. The jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But in a way, both our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. Hanako throws one last item into her basket, then sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes. Could you please... Takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Oh, you want me to pay for this? She does, but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lee on the usual occasions. Sure. Let me just grab a couple of things. Hastily grab a few essential items for myself and head for the counter with Hanako in close tow. The attendant gives me a different note as he scans in the items. I suppose just ignoring us is one way to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store to the school. The staff must all have their own way of dealing with us. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Our transaction complete. How can I head back to the street? The road is pretty much abandoned now. The students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. And with only the school ahead on the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her sides, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed and back to the upright position. It's almost as if she were enjoying this walk. So, why all these weird things? Mixed spice, why would you need that in school? I sometimes like to make food. Well, yeah, so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? Not really. Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day. Sure. She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seems a great deal happier than she did on the walk down there. That one makes me a little happier too. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our respective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I tell you, you're putting me to shame here. No, I'm only joking. I have a stack of homework that I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Will you be alright getting that to your room? Yeah. Sure, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. We part ways and I return to my room. Piles of papers sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of the last week, I barely had any time to catch up. I tried to keep up with my studies while I was in the hospital, but some of the stuff I've never seen before, even back in my old school. Totally unprepared, I pop the top of a canned drink and get to work. But be sure not to drink energy drinks, man. It might be bad for your heart. Or I would say even maybe fizzy drinks in general. The days are really starting to heat up. Yeah, here as well. That's nice actually. This morning I awoke covered in sweat. Okay, that's not cool. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for breakfast and morning duties, the sun has taken full effect. Oddly, that puts me in high spirits. It's not even 8 yet I feel that this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at school that considered every absence from class a sign of a life-threatening situation, I'd consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. Yes, today will be a genuinely lazy day. For a second I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurses warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up those sporting jogs. Running with someone. Yeah, I mean, I kept running, great. I went to have I mentioned this? I think I haven't. I went to training, football training with another team. And guess what? My, first of all, ankle got wrecked. Maybe not much, but still, I can't like properly walk the way like with, you know, putting full weight on it. So that's problematic. And also, apparently, I also went running while having that ankle. And guess what? My lovely shin bone is being a pain again. Great. Woohoo. I don't know, man. My shins are freaked up completely. Anyway, running with someone like Emmy might have been a little testing, but if I worked at my own pace, yeah, it worked out for you, man. I mean, once my ankle is back to the correct way, I'll get back to running as well, of course. Hopefully soon. And maybe I will attend another training, who knows. Who am I kidding? I couldn't stick to something like that without some kind of motivation. You don't need motivation for that, to be honest. Eventually it just becomes a habit. It's not like I sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back up the hill. Yeah, it's no big deal. compared to most like the hospital beds, I'm getting plenty exercise. I guess, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't consider that exercise. I mean, you could say that back in the day when I work in the store, you know, 12 hours constantly on legs. Yeah, that's an exercise. No, it's not. It was terrible. It seems that I'm not alone in my appreciation of the day, because I'm more early bird apparently in the game. Nearly every member of the class is glancing through the window and into the tantalizing sky. Even the steadfastness seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as brazen as ever, has even unbuttoned the top buttons of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. I'm asking me staring as she's now sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no signs of halting her efforts, nor is she trying to hide the fact. I mean, she's pretty stuck, so I understand why he wouldn't be able to take the gaze away. The lunch bells seem to catch everyone by surprise, and the glass empties at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone. Hisao? Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in hand. I don't have to be attacked to work out where this is going. Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought Edward for everyone. Also, you don't have to be so stiff about it, for. Right. I take it we're going to the tea room. Please. We said she'll meet us in there, so we should go ahead together. Sounds like a plan. This heat fest made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from laziness promoted by their exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focusing on every little movement as if she's trying to keep her mind off other thoughts. Technically things will work as well if I said that, but yeah. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor that she has prepared everything with utmost care. I guess Liz isn't here. Should we start about her? She'll be here soon. Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Here, let me help with that. I take container from Hanako's hands and try to force open the lid. Try as I might, it seems wet shut. Let me guess. Did you put this in while the rice was still hot? Yeah, I was in a rush. I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. It looks like it's wet shut. We'll need some hot water to get it out. I mean open. But that could be a pain here, we'd get water everywhere. Well, in that case, how about I contribute to today's meal? At the door, Lily smiles while holding up a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Here, let me get that for you. With a little guidance, Lily's bread assortment joins Hanako's rice-less platter. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. As I take a bite, and Hanako trying her hardest to not look like she's looking at me. It's nothing special, but again, I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. Not bad. I guess it's made with the stuff you bought yesterday. Yes. Hanako's eyes shout at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Well, it was clearly worth it. Thanks, Hanako. I wanted to show you this after yesterday. It's okay. I was just a little surprised at the stuff you were buying. Hanako is always like to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good most of the time. What do you mean? While Lily's smile doesn't waver, the slight change in her tone tells me that things have not gone so well in the past. I mean, hey, that's what cooking about. You have to make mistakes to find out the greatest of flavor. And it's not like Hanako has many people to sample her cooking. Hang on, was Lee waiting for me to go first? She didn't start eating until after I said it was alright. Her cheeky grin tells me that this was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over her in the future to make up for this. Well, it's good, and that's all that counts, right? Right. Lee, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently touch the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the position of the food as she dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation, for she does it with such a care and thoughtfulness that it's obvious that this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Don't want to miss out, I start filling up myself. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lee and I have our hands clear before quickly snatching up the share. Before long, the containers are empty, save for the still shut rice container. Thank you, Hanako. That was filling. And delicious, may I add. No, thank you for the bread. Yeah, it would have been a disaster if not for that. No, it wouldn't. You're both welcome. But now I must get getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here and then head off. Well then, good day. Lee leaves her cane, tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quietly and quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together we stare out the window into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. The urge to skip class rises, oh my god. I should glance at Hanako, who shows no signs of moving either. Not just yet. The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch pulse passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party we skip. Hanako sighs. You're right. Slowly she rises to her feet and I follow suit. Silently we make our way up the old stairs to the third floor and then to our classroom. At the door I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in apology in advance. Sorry we're late, Echa. I'm greeted not by stern words, nor by an angry instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. Muto, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. However, the fact that Hanako and I have arrived together is blatantly obvious. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. The lovers return! What the fuck, Misha? Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming close to my desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear. Don't worry about Misha. She's always like this. I enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, but still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her more, but Muto picks this exact moment to enter the class, halfway through this lecture, as if he started it in the hallway. Which of course is directly proportional to the church, but inversely proportionally to the square of the distance. What? He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. While Muto's spiel rambles on, Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much so is from the show you just put on. I have been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition. Oh, and what that would be? You have to help us this afternoon. No, I grab my neck to look over Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I've already told you I'm not joining the council, remember?
Of course, doing so could be considered. Considered.
She looks down at her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script.
Under duress and hence would be against regulations.
How very strange of you to be considerate of the regulations now.
Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored.
And yet you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. Nice! After poking her tongue out at me, she turns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. We are not going, I hope. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both my shoulders. Hey, I said I'd help out, damn it!
This is just insurance, Hisao, insurance.
Hisao? Hanako timely tries to leave the room by circling around us, and I suddenly realize that this may be my one chance to escape. Oh, hey Hanako, what's up?
Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat?
Oh, relax, this won't take long. Sorry, Hanako, you were saying?
I was going to go to the library and I thought...
Hanako's thumbs dance around each other and her eyes flit around the room, looking everywhere but us.
Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has come with us. He's got work to do.
To be honest, right now I'm willing to show you a certain gesture a certain Polish sportsman made during one of the Olympics.
Oh, but you can help too if you like. So how about it, Hisao?
I have to. Hey Shizune, I know I said help, but I forgot I already made plans. Besides, I helped out more than fair share last week, didn't I? I promise I'll make it up to some other time. Which I won't, of course.
Huh? What? Huh?
Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long, deep, and silent conversation.
Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we're only going to spend the rest of the budget on cakes. So if you're not there, it works out better. More cakes for us.
You won't buy me out on this. I know you're lying. Kind of. Damn. They are so persistent. I mean, and in this case, I mean Shizune. It's definitely her trying to get us kind of... Shizune. It's not happening. Anyway, Shizune about faces and marches out the door and Misha skips out after her. You might be persistent. You might try to fight, but I will not fall into that. Well, that was a little easier than I thought it was going to be. Last week those two were like bloodhounds, or prison guards. Or maybe prison guards bred from bloodhounds. I can't believe I just thought that, let alone saying it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. Actually, we need to spend more time with him. Never mind. Anyway, should we go to the library?
Sure.
Hanako follows me through the still crowded halls to the library, using me as a shield. As soon as we are through the door, Hanako bolts for the counter where Yuko is stacking books. Before I can catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her.
Huh? He has found that in non-fiction, but I don't know where exactly. If you want, I can look it up. Never mind.
Hey Yuko, what's all this about?
Oh, Hanako's just looking for a book on...
Nothing. A book on nothing. In the non-fiction section.
I
should glance at Yuko. She looks like she's about to burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request secret. Yuko, what did...
Chess! She's looking for a chess book.
I make a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information.
Yuko. I'm sorry, Hanako, it just slipped out.
Well, it's not secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up my skills too.
Okay.
Yuko disappears behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander into the depths of the non-fiction section. I know there is supposed to be a system for categorizing these books, but I don't see how anyone can decipher it without spending half of their life researching it. That's probably why all the librarians I know are neurotic. How many librarians do you know? I have nobody that would be a librarian. Towards the end of the aisle, between a book on cards, tricks, and some book on kids games, stand a single book bearing the title Chess Tactics for Champions. Before I can reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest.
Well, I guess that's yours then.
Mind if I borrow it when you're finished?
Sure, I just haven't really played against anyone but a little before, so I thought...
Dang, it's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have
taken it to the heart.
Then again, at least this means she wants to play me again. That's a plus, right? Well, it's not like I'm a master or anything. I just played just a bit before. It occurs to me that I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I faltered for a second and decided to cover my tracks. Bet is a conversation for another day. Before I came here.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I was just remembering something. When I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition and my time in the hospital. Judging by her scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in the hospital bed. But for some reason I can't bring it up, at least not today, and not on a short notice. Eager to break off the conversation, I grab a random book from the shelf. It's some book on the world's fastest roller coasters. Published in 1982, well, not very up to date, but it should at least be interesting. Maybe. Well, we both got books now. Should we go and sit down? Hanako seems to accept my bluff, and we head to the reading book in the back of the library. To be honest, I think of all the people, she's the one that most likely understands Hisao the most. I think she would be more or less, with her condition basically, in the same boat emotionally. But yeah, I think that's what it is about. Like, like Misha, for example. I mean, wait, we don't know Misha. No, not in this situation. But like Shizune, you know, in her way, she talked about it. Lily was like, yeah, talk about with me, right? I don't mind. Rin, I mean, she straight up was like open about it. Like, she didn't basically care. And Emi, I think she's a ball of energy as well. I think she would have no problem talking about her situation. Meanwhile, Hanako, I think she's the same as Hisao in the aspect. Like, basically, she doesn't want to talk about it at all. Anyway, neither of us says a word. We simply open our books and start reading. I tried to read my book, but it would seem that in 1982, roller coasters were nearly as large as the ones built in the decades since. Most of the ones listed are made of wood. Something about that doesn't seem safe to me. Whatever they are made of, they are not 100% safe anyway. If I'm going to write on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made out of steel or some kind of space-age alloy that has big words like titanium and ruthenium. I quickly lose interest, and my eyes wander across the reading area to rest on Hanako. She seems absorbed in her book, flicking back and forth through the pages as if confirming what she just read. I wonder if that's actually effective, or if she's just overloading herself. She unconsciously brushed her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it right to ask her about the scars? Or her past? How long was she in the hospital? Does she still visit the doctor? These all seem the questions that you'd ask someone who just transferred to school, translated in the local language. But to date, no one has directly asked me any of them. Well, except Rin. But I don't think I should use her as a guide to proper social behavior. I guess, yeah, but yeah, I like the openness that Rina showed us. For the time being, I'll just keep my mouth shut. I guess that's a good decision here, actually. If someone wants you to know something, then they will tell you. Trying to force the issue may drive Hanako back into herself.
Sorry to interrupt, I have to close the library now.
Already? I check my watch. Somehow I was lost in thought. Nearly 2 hours have passed.
Do you want to check out the books? I can do it on the way up.
Please. I'm done. I'll drop this one back on the way through, for it wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks the place with a slip of paper and stands up. The girls head to the counter and I return my book to what I think is the right shelf. Yuko scans Hanako's book with practice precision, yet still manages to fumble it.
Oh, there we go. Fact I'm lucky. Since it's a non-fiction book, you can only have it for a week. That's okay.
Yuka shuts down the library's computer and heads us out the door.
Ah, I didn't think it was this late already.
But you're the one that told us to head to close.
Yeah, but I know. But that was before I looked at the time. I'll see you later. Meow.
Yuko bolts down the hall, her handbag trailing behind her like an awkward streamer. I guess all librarians really are neurotic.
Eh?
Ah, never mind. I was just thinking that I've never met a librarian that can organize their time, no matter how good they are with their books.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Hanako smiles in amusement. It wasn't meant to be a joke, but I must have reminded her of some older librarian or something.
I have to get back.
Yeah, me too. I didn't realize it was this late. Thanks for letting me hang out with you.
No problem.
I'm going to my dormitory room now anyway, so do you mind if I tag along?
Okay.
Hanako sits ahead of me, and I need to jog a little to reach her side. We walk through the gardens, eventually arriving in front of the dorm buildings. Man, you walk pretty fast. I used to play in soccer club, and you managed to outpace me. I can't regret saying that. It has less to do with her pace than with the fact that my condition has significantly worsened my fitness. Hanako's reaction is odd. I expect an awkward attempt to downplay her walking speed, but she just blushes while looking at her feet and smiling. Silence hangs in the air between us. That happens often around Hanako, but feels slightly different than usual this time. After a few seconds, I try to break the silence. Here we go. See you in class tomorrow.
Sure.
Hanako waves a short goodbye before pushing her way through the dorm's doors. I stand and look at them for a while before making my way to my own dormitory room. And at this moment we are ending the episode. We'll get back to the story tomorrow. I think I'll be recording at nightfall. So hope to see you there. Have a wonderful day. Yeah.